Hello, this is Better Mix, and today I'm gonna talk to you about Tabttoo. Tabttoo is a reimagining of the tab menu in Houdini, and it's really fun to create nodes with it. So I started creating it for me, but it grew up into this product. So let's start using Tabttoo. So you can see this is the traditional Houdini menu, and you can do most of the stuff you do with the menu here. You can do it with Tabttoo. And a lot more. So this is Tabttoo. You can see this is by default is this just this line where you enter the name of your nodes. You can say poly and you sort all the poly nodes. You can see the first thing you can see is that the icons are really big and beautiful. And this is the native Houdini icons. So I'm just taking advantage of the already existing icons in Houdini and bringing them to this huge size and glory. I just love the look of this. You can see all of it looks pretty nice. There are some features here that we will take a look at. And if you actually want to bring back, by default now I'm using tab to open this and the tab key. If you want to bring back your tab menu while you're using Tabttoo, you can click this button here. Actually, we kind of integrated there. So it's kind of like if you want to see the whole menu, you can still use it. You can still just use it as normal. So we're not overriding that at all. So it's just meant to work together in a way. So the first thing again, it's big icons. So the icons are just beautiful in Houdini. You can see those icons are just awesome. And I love it. It's just a joy to just see those icons so big. It just makes it joyful. All right, so let's start creating nodes. So let's make a box. And here, the one thing you're gonna see right now is that if I select this node and put something like a poly bevel, I just press enter. You can see the node actually connects itself and place itself, and now I'm seeing the properties here. The other thing you notice is that the display flag is on the node that I just created. This is not the default behavior in Houdini, and this is actually a setting. You can, if you don't want to do that, you can toggle off this follow display flag. Again, I just open Tabttoo and click this settings icon here, and there's a display flag here. If you don't want the display flag to follow the node, you can change this. There's other options here. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So yeah, that's one of the things. Auto placing nodes, it just saves so much clicks. When you start using Tabttoo and then you go back to normal tab, it's like, why am I clicking so much? It's just so cool that I can just select this node and I want to put a group there and just press enter, and the node just pops there. I don't need to do anything else. It's just pretty awesome, really. All right, so now there's also some of the features. You can see right now this is the default size of this. There are some sizes. I'm using an HDI high DPI monitor, 4K monitor, so I'm using the high DPI. But by default, you're gonna start with normal, which in my case is pretty small. But in a 1080 monitor, this will be good enough. If you actually, maybe if you forgot your glasses or something or lost them, there's a setting for that. You can make it really big and enjoy more of the beautiful icons in Houdini. Or if you want to work like that just because you love it, or even if you are blind like me, when I take off my glasses, you can have even bigger Tabttoo here, and you can see this is just huge. So if you want to work like that, you can. I'm just gonna go back to HDMI, high DPI, and then there's also this option here. You can see in the results. Let's just search for these results. Have a default size for the icons. If you wanted to pack them a little bit more, you can with this setting here. By default, this is at 100. And this is the size of the icons. If I make this, let's say I want to make them bigger. You can see now, if I see these icons are really huge here. If you want to see the icons bigger here, you can. If you want them really small and have more results in your list, you can make this all the way down. Come on. And now you can see the, you can see that the icons are smaller and you have more results maybe in your list if that's what you want to see. I actually enjoy having the icons like that, so I have it at 90 most of the time. So you can see that's how I enjoy it. It's a nice balance. So now the other thing is again, you can launch tab from here. Don't worry about it. You're not gonna lose it. It's there. One of the other features is that you can multi-add. You can see if I search for material, there's this plus button here. You can click it. It's gonna add it here to the queue, and then I can add a UV texture, add that to the queue. And then maybe a null. If you are a keyboard person, you can press Ctrl space to add to the queue. You don't have to click that. So there's two options, with your keyboard and with your mouse or pen. Let's create another node just to show you that. Let's say something null again. You can click here, or again, you can press Ctrl space and it will add it. Once you have the nodes you want here, you just press enter and then it creates all those nodes in one go. You can see that's pretty cool. So now that we have this concept of creating multiple nodes here, we can actually save those nodes. Here, let's create a material, a UV texture, UV flatten, and a null at the end. Now, when I have this in my node here in my queue, I can press F1 in my keyboard and it's gonna ask me for an alias name, and let's call this texturing, and I press OK, and it says the alias has been saved up here. Now, where are these aliases? So if you open Tabttoo again and press type dot, now you can see there are a list here. I have different aliases here, and this is the one that I just created. If I click on it, you can see now I saved those nodes, so I can just anytime I want to bring those nodes back, I can just say, I can even search here as well, texturing. You can filter that list. Just created that again. And if you want to delete one of these presets here, or these aliases that we have here, you can just press on this guy. If you don't want that, you can see this. It's gonna ask you, you want to delete that, and say okay, and then that should be gone from there. Bone is not there anymore. You know, I think that's an object level preset. Now aliases, this is one part of aliases, just selecting some nodes like this. But aliases go way deeper than that. So if you actually select anything here, like let's select. No, I don't want to do the stuff because it's gonna save geometry and stuff. So you can even let's say I'm going to create a torus here, and these two nodes I'm going to save, and maybe even a node, because you can save whatever you want here. Let's put a node and say this is a node, and maybe put this in network packs, whatever. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, network packs. So you can select this stuff and open Tabttoo, and just without typing anything, just press F1, and it's gonna say what's your alias name, and I'll say temp alias, whatever. Now it saved an alias, and now it saved actually all this stuff into an alias. Now if we go to the alias, you can see here temp alias. If I click that, it's here. You can see I have it there. Saves everything, saves the geometry inside, saves all that it is there. It just saves whatever you want. Can select in Houdini, you can save it to an alias here. If we go inside this guy, even if we had like different things that switch here, we had some geometry on this side, we have some other geometry on the other side. You can select all this stuff, press tab, then F1, and we can save this as my setup. And then it's gonna save it with position and everything. I can just say, let's bring my setup here. Here it is, and there it is. It's your setup. It's there with any settings you put here. Everything's gonna be saved completely as it was. So that's pretty cool for aliases. Let's move on, because there's a lot of stuff for this tool. So now let's go open the settings here, and we can enable the history panel here, or the history pane. And then if we open that, you can see I already had some history before. And there are some history notes here that when you launch Tabttoo the first time, you're gonna have for the last 5 nodes you created. Let's say a torus again, and there it is. Now if I open this is the torus that I just created. I can just click any of these guys to create them again, and it will go to the top. I can create a DAP network there, and it will, if I had something connected, it will do the expected thing that the Tabttoo does, that it just connects the node to the previous one. All right, so yeah, history panel. It's gonna be also, it's gonna work with any context. You can see I have stuff that it's geometry level here, not at and I have this history because I've been using it. Whenever you activate it, the history saves. If you don't have it activated, the history is not being saved, but I had that stuff there before. If I go to materials, you can see there is material stuff here. So it's context sensitive. If I go here, I have stuff from rendering here. So it's context sensitive completely. Alrighty, so let's go now to the result size. I already told you about the result size, which is this settings here. You can set the size of the results, the result list there, if you want it more compact or bigger here. Searching features. So we have a bunch of ways to find nodes. So maybe you saw before that I type PV to find the poly bevel, and this is obeying the capital letters in the name. So let's say I want to find this group by range. I can type GR, and you can see I got group rename, group by range, grain source. So this is just these ones have the capital matching, and then it starts to get the starting letters here. You can see GR for grid, GR for groom, and all that stuff. You can also search any type part of the name. Let's say I want to get to this node completely. I can type by, and it's gonna match anything that has by in the name. And I type R to by R, and just by typing 3 letters, I just got directly to this node by range. If I know the name exactly, I can do that. I can type range, and it's gonna get everything that has range on it, or from, and it's gonna find anything that it's named from. If I type poly, I'm gonna get everything that it's named poly at the start. But it's pretty cool that you can type like 2 letters, like AW for attribute wrangle, PW for point wrangle, primitive wrangle is there, AT for attribute transfer, XF is a special one for transform, GRP for group, and a lot of other things. If you just type group, you're gonna get everything that is related to groups, etc. So try to use that to your advantage to find stuff faster. There's also a built-in calculator. So if you want to say like, oh, I need to add 10 frames to this timeline, times 120. That I have this result, and I don't have to copy anything. This just copies to my paste buffer automatically. You can see if I paste here, it's already there in my. Just need to go wherever you need that result and paste it, or here something. It just copies to your paste buffer or whatever. You can do parentheses stuff, 10 times 5 plus 20, and it will work. It's pretty useful because sometimes you just want to do some math really quickly, and this works really cool. The settings for this. Alright, so the settings for Tabttoo are in your Houdini user folder. You can see this is my Houdini user folder. There will be a folder created here, which is called Tabttoo, and here it's the configuration file for Tabttoo. You see here I have the configuration. You can see it's just mostly text files. Well, it is totally text file. A text file. You can see here's the history for each context. Here's the settings for the you saw from the in the settings for the app, and then the aliases are here. The ones that you are just nodes are here. The other ones, let's see, are actually here in this folder called aliases, because those are binary files. You can see that's a binary file there. and there's other files here. So these are the other aliases that where you can select anything in Houdini and save it. So if you need to change anything in Houdini, I mean in Tabttoo, you can get to the settings really quickly and change it there, or delete them to scratch them off. So yeah, the other thing is that this tool works in any context. We've seen SOPs and geometry here, but you can go to material and you can create a principal shader here. You can create anything here. You can do a builder, material builder, and create here whatever node you want, a pattern or anything. It just works in any context in Houdini. I use this a lot to create Redshift materials. Works with Redshift, RSM for Redshift material, and RST for texture. This is another feature. You can see the nodes get connected automatically as well in any context. Here, let's say I want to do put a range here in middle. I have this node selected. I press enter, and it auto connects the node there. It's not super smart, the auto connect, but it does help a lot when connecting some nodes. So yeah, it works in any context here. We can actually, let's say, it works with Arnold as well. This is an Arnold shader. So you can see it just AI. I don't see any Arnold stuff. Standard. So you can see there is the standard surface for Arnold. So it works with Arnold. Works with anything. Which works with RenderMan as well. You can see there is let's call texture, and here in the RenderMan context, you can see there's only RenderMan nodes here, so you can only select those guys, which is pretty cool. All right, it also supports external libraries like QLib, mobs, the game dev tools. You can see if we press QL, there's the QL tools there. This construction guide, there it is. If we go inside SOPs, you can see QL. There are QL stuff here, the bent, she's famous, and any other stuff you want from the QL tools, it works with those. If you want to work with mobs, it works with mobs as well. The game dev tools, you just need to type GD and you get all the game dev tools as well. So it just works with the external tools as well. And tools, even if you create your own tools, it will show here as well. All right, so there's some stuff that works on the viewport, and all right, so I have a box here in the viewport, and I say I want to group some, let's say those points on the top, I want to group them. You can use Tabttoo on the viewport, create a group. It will create a group with those points in the group, and it works as expected. If you want to do it for faces as well, just works as you expect it to work. If you want to add color to the top face, you can add it there. You can see just made the top face red, sorry. It just works as you expected in the viewport as well. Selecting to create nodes, to add stuff to different parts of your geometry. If it doesn't, please report it and we can fix it. All right, we already talked about the main features, and the other feature that I'm really excited about is the help panel. We can see display help panel here, save. Now if you start this, you can see we have this panel here. Let's start with a sphere maybe, and then you can see it tells you a quick help about that node. Any node that has help from Houdini, it is displaying the help there. You can see if you go to the BDV and you want to know what any of those nodes do, you can get really quick help here about that node, which is pretty cool. If you're new to Houdini, this is a great way to start learning Houdini, because each tool has a little bit of text there. If you want to see the whole thing, well, you go to the Houdini help, integrated help. The Houdini help is amazing. So this is just a quick thing for you to not lose the flow and start just searching here what What does the polyreduce do? All right, that's a quick text there. And this comes from the Houdini help, so there's everything is gonna make sense. We're not reinventing anything here. All right, so then there are some nodes that don't have help, like the game dev tools. The tool that are integrated into the nodes is not working yet. I will work on making that a feature later. It also shows help for the Bex functions. If you type this like a inverted B, I'm gonna think that's how I think about it. It's a angle bracket, forward bracket. You can get help for the Bex functions. You can actually search for Bex functions. Let's say I want to look for add point, and you can see there's add point, and there's the help for it. You can actually click here, and if you click anywhere else, Tabttoo is gonna stay there. Let's say you are actually, let me hide it now, 8W to create an attribute wrangle. Most of the time you're here, and I just say I want to know what the add point does, and it doesn't show any help here, but you can say all right, let's search for add point, and you can click here and say, all right, I need a geo handle. It's going to be this one, and then I need a point number, let's say 1, and that's going to be how you use that function. Okay, another thing you can do with Tabttoo is launch external tools. Like if I want to launch, let's say it's Sublime, you can just type the double backslashes and then the command. And this command is dependent on your OS. So if you're right now I'm in Linux and I have the subl command tied to Sublime. But if you in Houdini, in Linux, in Windows, you will type like Sublime text.exe or something like that. If I do that, you can see I have it already open here because I have the features here. But let's say I wanna listen for some metal. I can launch Spotify, and you can see I have Spotify launching here. Really cool. I have Pantera already there, and so yeah, you can launch anything. I can launch Dolphin, which is the KDE browser. Again, in Windows you will type Explorer or something like that. In Mac you will see you use Finder, I think. Console, if I want to use that. There's my console. If I want to launch even another version of Houdini, you can just launch Houdini. Again, you can see I'm launching Houdini, which is pretty useful. You don't need to get out of Houdini to launch your other tools. So yeah, anything you want to launch from Houdini, you can launch it from here as well, directly from Tabttoo. So all right, I hope you find this really useful. Tabttoo is really helping me make stuff faster and actually making Houdini way more fun to use for me. I love the icons. I love the look of it. And I hope you like it as well. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.